Welcome to the Climb! This is a show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the music business. What is leverage? It's a strategic advantage. It's the power to act effectively. Those are fancy terms. In plain English, it means they want you just as much as you want them, or they need you more than you need them. And that's the kind of relationship dynamic you're going to have to get ahead as a songwriter, to get ahead as an indie artist, as a singer in this business. You've got to get some railroad track laid down. You've got to get some results to show them this is not a potential-based business anymore. It's a what have you done lately business. And that's why we called it The Climb, C.L.I.M.B, creating leverage in the music business. Let me introduce you to my co-host and good friend, Mr. Brent Baxter, who cooked all that up. Not for nothing, he's a word man. Brent is an award-winning hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady Antebellum, Joe Nichols, and more. And he also helps songwriters like you turn pro by revealing how you can write like a pro, do business like a pro. And not only that, on the regular, he actually connects you to the pros so you get a shot with some real people that are making moves every day in this industry. You can find Brent at songwritingpro.com. Once again, that's songwritingpro.com.
And I would like to introduce you to my co-host, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. Daredevil has created over 25 national TV opportunities for their indie artists by making them discoverable. They've also created multiple tour opportunities, and through the power of digital marketing data, speaking of fancy words that I can't quite say, they've attracted a number of investors for their artists, and the investors like the numbers because numbers don't lie because numbers can't talk. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That's production singular, no S. And there's no S because there is no other Johnny D.
I love that introduction, not for nothing, but I still don't get it.
There is no S because there is no other?
Yeah, well, that's a correlate with.
Well, because it's their productions.
I'm not complaining.
There's singular because you are singular, and there is no S because there's no other. Daredevil Production.
Oh, okay. Well, now I get it. See, I didn't connect that dot. Like, see,
yes.
You should have had faith. I'm sorry.
See, hear me now, understand me next year. What episode is this? 166? Okay.
By the way, this drops on the 16th. Is that what you said?
Yes, April 16th. Happy
pretty sure that's our 3-year
hangover day. What?
I'm pretty sure that's our 3-year anniversary.
It might be something like that. Oh gosh, because we dropped several episodes at the beginning, so maybe so.
Blink, 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 blink. I'm pretty sure it was the first week or the first. I think it was like around the middle of the month of March, 2016.
Well, happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary! We're rocking up the term. So today we are going to dive into some stuff that just really frosts my flakes.
It cocos your puffs?
It cocos my puffs. And you know what? It cocos your puffs too. It frosts your flakes. It pisses you off as well. And it's called spam. We're going to talk about what it is and what it isn't. And because there's a lot of confusion. There's people who are completely unaware and don't care. Mm-hmm. And they're pissing everybody off. Or then they're
spamming and they don't know it.
Yeah, and then there's people who aren't doing anything because they don't want to quote unquote, I'm putting air quotes here, spam, and they think an ad is spam. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about that. But before we do that, let's take care of some business.
Yes.
The Climb Music Biz podcast is proud, as always, to partner with disc makers who've been supporting indie musicians before indie music was even a thing. When you're ready to make CDs, DVDs, vinyl, or distribute your music in videos with customized USBs, those are little thumb drives, those are super cool. Mm-hmm. Go to discmakers.com, DISC makers.com. It's the only place you need to go.
That's right. And while you're there, check out the Guides and Resources tab and download some of their excellent free guides. They've just revised and expanded their home studio handbook, which has a ton of great advice and information for newbies and studio veterans. You can find them online at www.discmakers.com or give them a call at 800-468-9353. That's 800-468-9353.
All right. And hey, if you haven't joined the C.L.I.M.B community, please do so. We've been getting a kind of a mass influx of people, which has been good. Last couple, lots of people referring other people and everything. Mm-hmm. This is a Facebook community, guys. If you have to ask to be let in, we let everybody in. Be good boys and girls, or we'll roadhouse you out. We run a pretty tight ship there. Mm-hmm. But man, people asking good questions on there.
Yeah, and people giving good input.
Great input, like really solid input. That's from the community. And then I'm weighing in, usually with a finger pointing up above the comment, going, what he said.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yes.
It's a good support system with songwriting questions, with publisher questions, with indie artist marketing questions, and all the kind of stuff we're talking about on this podcast. People are cooking that up, and they're going back and forth, and it's where you need to be. So we encourage you to go there. Please subscribe to the podcast. It makes it easy. It all just comes automatically in your podcast player wherever you consume podcasts. We're there, and it's going to. You can consume them in order or bounce around, but everything's cataloged and kept there, and you can access it whenever you want. Take 30 seconds, leave a rating and review, 5-star if you can. Makes us feel good. It grows more hair on Brent's face when that happens.
That's right. I'm going to be tripping over it soon.
That's right. And then finally, take if this is affecting you, if this is we got a lot of people who really love this podcast. I mean, they're really fun and benefit from it, the value. I mean, share that with a friend, put that up on your social media. Maybe it's a specific episode that you're like, this is what's happening right now. Like, dude, share it with other musicians, with other songwriters, with other people in your music community, wherever you're hearing this, because we can help them too. And that's the only reason we're doing this. Just to help people, right?
That's right. Yep. We want to be part of your journey. And we want to go to the number one party. But
so, for the love of all that is holy, everybody needs to stop spamming.
Stop it.
Stop.
Back away from the spam.
Every day I go to my Instagram, and I'll bet you, if you're listening to my voice, you have the same issue. It's not me. It's not because I'm popular. That's not the case at all. I go there, and there's probably at least 5 to 10 direct messages from people I don't know with a picture of a tour poster or a video.
Oh, I'm starting to get those, Johnny, since I'm starting to actually follow your advice and growing my community on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm finally doing what you tell me to do a little bit. Thank you.
You've been doing that for 3 years.
I know, and having bad results. And what Johnny says, I'm like, I've doubled my Instagram. But I've also
really? I was going to ask you about that. I haven't looked at it lately.
I think it's grown by about 2,000 or so in the past month, maybe.
Nice.
Something like that. Yeah, since I started actually doing what you preach. So, yeah. And so my spam has increased. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. That's
now they know I exist.
You got to take the good with the bad. Yeah, that's it. They know you exist, and they want to hit you with it. We're going to, I mean, there's a delicate balance here, and I want to get into what that is. On one hand, I'm sitting here complaining, saying this is ridiculous that I get this amount of messages every single day from artists I don't know. Well, I got a tour poster one time for a gig, and I just happened to look at it, and it's like in Seattle or something. I'm like, why the hell are you spamming me? I'm not flying out there. I don't even know you. Number one, I don't know you.
Right.
I'm a cold audience. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Right. Number two, do you really think I'm going to get on a plane and come out and see your club show?
Hey, I saw your poster on Instagram. You took the time to DM me, so I took the time to book a flight.
Yeah, and a hotel and a rental car, so I could come and see you if it's find out if you suck or not.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that is the most horrific example of spray and pray that I've ever.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense, and it's not necessary with the tools that they happen to be spamming me on.
You know what it is? It's the back end of a rhino. See, we've been to the zoo lately. It's been spring break, and Ozzy's way into animals and stuff. So we've been going to the zoo.
I know where you're going.
And yes, if you aren't familiar with the back end of a rhino, it has this little tail right above its anus. And what it does, or is it hippos?
It's hippos. It's hippos.
Okay, sorry, back end of a hippo. And they don't just like to poop. They like to make an event of it. While they're pooping, that little tail is acting like a fan and a
that's where the fit hits the shan.
That it is, yes. And so when they poop, they like spray everywhere on purpose.
On purpose.
Yeah. So, it works for the ecology. We don't have to go into all that, but don't be the back end of a hippo. Anyway,
yeah, that's right. Because it doesn't work in your music thing. I can promise you that.
Right. No one wants to stand next to the hippo.
So let's just describe Spam for a second. First of all, gross meat product. Right?
Except for our friends in Hawaii. We love you.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like you don't know what's in there, right?
No.
You have no idea what's going on in Spam. That's why I think they called it Spam. Like, because you
had to make up a term.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's unwanted. Okay. It's annoying. It's disruptive. It's disruptive to my DMs, right? To your DMs, if you're listening to me. And there is no conversion rate on that is worth a damn. And why? Because it's a cold audience. Mm-hmm. They don't know who you are. So you're like a door-to-door salesman. Yeah. That just comes right in the room, and you come home after work and there he is in the kitchen. You're like, I'm sorry, did somebody let you in? No, I just let myself in and thought I'd sit down and talk to you about my Fuller brush set and some Kirby vacuum cleaners. And,
right.
I mean, that's how intrusive it is. And it doesn't work. You can't create friends that way. And I'll text people back. Like, I'll DM them back. Mm-hmm. Hey, do I know you? And they're like, oh, sorry, bro. Just put it out there. Just thought maybe you might want to know about your gig in Seattle. Yeah. Like, dude, I live in Nashville. I don't know you. Does this? Right. And then because I'm not I'm busting their chops a little bit, but I'm like, does this work? Honestly, does this work? Is there something I'm missing?
Right. I'm glad
do you send out 1,000 of these and get 5 people that are like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm coming.
Right. Yeah.
Answer, no. So this is not where you want to be. This is not the way to do it. This is, oh my gosh, the new thing now, you can put pictures. I don't know if it's new or not, but it just shows up differently for some reason in Instagram DM. When they send you a picture through the DM, there's like a button that says photo as opposed to just seeing the damn photo.
Oh yeah. I get those. I get like the play videos.
Yeah. Or the
videos from their stories. And I'm like, and it keeps showing up new, like I have an unread message until I click on it or delete them. It's annoying.
And they think that's the thing, right? They think, oh, and now they got to click on it.
Right.
So this new thing it's awesome, dude. Like they got to watch. That's cool. No.
Like, it's Christmas. You got to unwrap the present.
Yeah. No, I'm hating you for this 10 seconds of my life. I'm not going to get back. Right. Because I got to remove, because my OCD says I got to remove this from my
Exactly.
It's an affliction that I'm pissed off about.
If we put the dog poo in the brown paper bag and set it on the porch, they may not step on it. But if we light it on fire and knock on their door, they will come out and they will step on it.
That's exactly what that is. Light it on fire. They're going to have to step on it to save the house.
They get my content on their boot.
So here's the thing. I mean, when you're trying to do something like this as far as promotion, I mean, first of all, let's give some props. God bless you. You're trying to promote. You're hustling. You're wasting your time, though. This is the equivalent of trying to dig an Olympic-sized swimming pool in your backyard with like a Barbie spoon, right?
Right.
This is going to work. This is going to be awesome. 30 years from now, if I work 12 hours a day, I might have half of this done, right? As opposed to bringing a backhoe.
Erosion is slightly faster, but
yeah. And think about that. So here's the alternative, right? Bring in a backhoe for a day and dig it out in one damn day.
Right.
Okay, but backhoe costs money. Well, how much is 30 years of digging with a Barbie spoon cost you?
It ain't back sled, it's backhoe. It costs money. I got the jokes today because I didn't sleep well. I got no filter.
You don't, man. You're a little edgy this morning already, and I started off with a spank session for you. Like, let me see this graphic thing you're working on. I don't like it. You got to switch it over. So I switched over to new one.
Off Johnny trying to fix my world off air and didn't need to fix him. But anyway, I'm a little edgy. So
you have, if you're a DIY artist, I don't care what genre you're in. If rock and roll, country music, rap, hip hop, jazz, whatever, classical music. If you are an artist and you're DIY, two things are really precious. What are those?
Your time and your money.
Your time and your money. You can't afford to waste any of them. And this is wasting all of it. Mm-hmm. All your time for certain, right?
Yeah.
For certain, all your time. So I'm going to ask you this, like, how much time are you wasting right now doing that? This is a common problem with entrepreneurs in all industries and all businesses. They feel like they're doing something because they're busy.
Yes. Work for work's sake.
Exactly. Like answering emails. Like, I've been answering emails all day. Okay, is that getting you into growth? Like, you got to answer emails. Don't get me wrong, but there's a time and a place to do that, and it's not productive during the day when you can be interacting with other people, hustling.
It's not effective enough, right?
It's not doing that. So that is more common than you could possibly imagine. So the other day, I'm out with a dear friend of mine and a songwriter, and she's her name's Lala Deaton. I'm going to mention her name. She's got a killer Christmas record that she's going to put out.
Is it going to be called Fa La 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 Deaton?
No, but I wonder if she's thought about that, because I haven't ever heard that. So easy, but she's pretty clever with the words, I'll tell you. But it's it's all brand new songs. It's not Christmas standards, and it's all big band.
Oh,
so it's super, super cool. And she's got that kind of talent where she can do that Michelle Pfeiffer thing in the Fabulous Baker Boys.
On top of the piano.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And do that. But they've got me full string section, horn section. It's a big deal.
Cool.
We just were having a meeting on marketing, and we went out and had some coffee, and we're just talking, and she was telling me, like, I said, have you seen this or this? She's like, oh yeah, they spam me all the time. I'm like, they spam you? What do you mean? And she's like, well, yeah, they show up in my feed. I'm like, so it's an ad? She's like, yeah. I said, did you read it? Yeah. She's like, yeah, I liked it. I'm like, okay, so that's not spam.
That ain't spam if you like it.
That's advertising. Yeah.
By the way, those poor people that make spam, how are they stated business?
I don't know.
Not just because of the product, but now because it's a bad word. Anyway, go ahead.
Right.
She likes the ads. They're ads. And she actually.
Well, then you add the Monty Python thing to it. Spam a lot.
Right.
Instead of Camelot.
Yeah.
So here's a situation where she feels that, and she just sort of but this is, I think this is where the pendulum swings the other way, Brent, with artists, is that they feel like anything that's interruptive is spam.
Right.
But that's not the case. Spam is like unwanted, annoying crap. Okay.
Right.
And interruptive, like at some point you have to interrupt somebody's consciousness to get in. If you're going to get in front of new eyeballs, that's the formula. Get the artist and the art in front of new eyeballs and let them do their thing. Well, if they're new eyeballs, they don't know who you are. You are going to interrupt them.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way. Okay. And then what happens after that is the difference between how we're marketing today and how we used to be marketed to. On a broadcast platform, it was a constant barrage of commercials that were interrupting your radio listening experience, your TV viewing experience. And now we get them interrupting on our smartphone with apps if you don't have the paid version, or on every app, any website you visit, all those cookies are firing and showing you all this stuff that you just looked at on Amazon, right? Yeah. It's on your Facebook, it's in your email, it's on every website that you visit.
It creeps you out so you can't sleep. And what do you do when you can't sleep? You get online and look at stuff, and they find more stuff that you're looking at, and they send more of it, and you can't sleep even more because you're more creeped out that they sent you the kid's play set in your Instagram feed that you looked at and just talked about with your wife in the kitchen.
Yeah, and then you blame Alexa.
So you need to throw out your Alexa.
Bang her. Well, we were talking about honey, and now it's showing up everywhere. They're fine.
Treat that sucker like a hockey puck.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a future episode because those are called cookies. Those are extremely powerful, by the way. And every artist that doesn't have them, which is just about every artist, is crazy. Like you need to have that for yourself. For now, I just want to talk about people are afraid to interrupt people for fear of being spam. So there's zero awareness where you're just spraying and praying like the hippo, and you're pissing off everybody. Like, I don't even like this kind of music, and you're giving me ads to go to a show across the country. And this is clearly a target problem.
Junk mail. Right.
Yeah. You haven't targeted anybody here, pal.
Right.
You know, you're just following everybody. You don't care who it is and what they listen to, and then forget about it. I mean, for probably an hour to an hour and a half, because this was like a 3-hour coffee meeting that I had with Lala, we talked about targeting. We talked about the psychographics of the kind of person who's going to want to hear this. And what's relevant and what's not relevant. And see, for her, so she's got a twist, right? It's a Christmas record.
Right.
So that's at least, I don't know what the percentage is, but more than 50% of the country are going to be Christians, right? And
or at least culturally celebrate Christmas. Yeah.
And culturally celebrate Christmas. Yeah. This is why we're talking about the stuff that we're talking about with digital marketing, because you do have to interrupt them. You need to interrupt them with something that either informs them, that either educates them, informs them, entertains them. You need to do something, and it's got to be for them. It's got to be relevant and personal to them. If it's something that they want to watch, not knowing who you are as an artist, that's money. Then you've interrupted them. And like the link I sent you today, and I'll put this up in the C.L.I.M.B community too. It's the first version of one of my artists, Alora. It's like our first gig. We put together like a little video ad for the gig that we're going to do. So her mom had, hours of footage of her when she was a baby, of Laura when she was a baby, and she has it all. So I'm like, send me that footage. I said, is there any footage that you have of her being irreverent? And she's like, all of it. I'm like, oh, you're kidding me. Because Laura's a rock artist, right? Yeah. Michael Wagner produced a record. It's killer. We got some great songs on the EP. Yeah. And she's like, oh, yeah. She goes, so there's video footage of her. First of all, she gave her mom a complex as a mom, because that was her first and only baby. And she gave her a complex because Alora would never let her mom change her diapers without a fight. Like literally, and I'm not kidding, had to be held down. Took 2 people to change her diapers. When mom was doing it, like sister had to come in and hold her shoulders down so that mom could get the diaper on, get everything taken care of. When dad did it, easy peasy. Right. So like Lori was putting cameras in the room because she wanted to see like, what the hell is he doing?
What's he doing? Right.
That's, like that she's so calm, cool, and collected, but she was like a monster with her mom. Okay. So I got all this footage of her mom trying to change a diaper, of her headbutting this other kid when she's like 2 years old, like headbutted this kid to the ground, like just boom, like on purpose, another one was the same poor kid where she's just throwing this kid down left and right. She's bullying him as a little kid. It's hysterical. And in the day she was born, they had footage of that. So in the nursery, when you're looking through the glass and the baby's all cleaned up, but it still has the little navel thing, the cord. They hold the baby up and she's just screaming bloody murder. So I'm like, of course, my sick mind, I'm like, that's an ad. Like, let's put it all together. People want to watch babies. And in the beginning, I think she might be like 3 years old, and she comes running up to the camera, and she's like, "Look at me!" Just like a total artist, right? Yeah. And she's looking at herself in the camera, and so I'm like, "Oh, there it is." And so we start the track kicking, and then I've just got all this footage of her doing this stuff. And it's funny because like watching her mom trying to change her diapers, like she almost falls off the couch twice. Like she's not just crying. Okay, she's squirming. Like you would think mom was trying to torture this kid, and she's just trying to change her diapers and be a mom, Yeah. But it's hilarious. That's something that people would want to watch. It's funny, right? And it's a baby. You can't wait. How can you go wrong? Oh, babies and funny stuff. So there it is. I'm trying to package up this interruption that we're going to pay to put out in a very specific market, right? We are going to target geographically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
25-mile radius of the club
Yeah.
in Nashville that she's going to play at.
And Seattle. You have to get the guy back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm going to make sure he gets everything. Like,
Right.
So I'm putting together content that I might catch your fancy on. It's not, I'm an artist, you should come check me out with a tour poster. Like why? Because we're going to a cold audience. And let's talk about the difference between a cold audience and a warm audience. Brent, you do this all the time. Like, explain a cold audience.
Okay. So a cold audience is strangers, people that they don't know who I am. Right. So we haven't had a warm handshake. Howdy, how you doing? None of that stuff, right? Just strangers, cold calling, right? You're just knocking on doors you haven't knocked on before. Call number you haven't called before kind of thing, right?
And then a warm audience.
Someone who you have some sort of history with, you've met before, you've been introduced, they have some awareness of who you are and what you're about. That's how I'd say it, I guess.
Right. Yeah. So you can't get a warm audience without going through the door of a cold audience first. You have to be interrupted. Now, here's the difference. This is what's huge. We've talked about on many different occasions the difference between a broadcast medium and how you promote on a broadcast, which is one to many. That's radio, that's TV, that's a live show, that's one to many, and how digital is one to one. You have to understand that with radio and the way that you were raised listening to music, the way that you are marketed to was via radio. And on the radio broadcast platform, the consumer develops a relationship with the song. That's what happens. By the way, it's interruptive. We've talked about that before. You weren't listening for Tim McGraw's new single off the second record when you didn't know who Tim McGraw was in 1994. You were listening to Reba McEntire to hear her new single because she had 18 studio records, and you know exactly who Reba McEntire is. She's your jam. You love her, and that's why you were listening. And put this into any freaking genre, rock and roll, hip hop, jazz, country, pop, it doesn't matter. You're listening for your jam on the radio. That's why you're listening, to hear a song that you love. Why do you love it? Because you know it. And then while you're waiting for the DJ to spin that, they shove this other thing down your throat.
Right.
Okay. So that's interruptive, and it's getting the art in front of new eyeballs. Powerful. But you don't, of course, latch onto that until you've heard it like 5 or 6 times, like for most consumers. And here's another point I want to point out. If you're listening to this podcast, you're a songwriter, you're an artist, you're a musician, you have the curse of knowledge. You have to understand that. You have the curse of knowledge.
Meaning?
You consume music differently. You experience it differently. It's 3-dimensional for you. Brent, you're a lyricist.
Yes.
It's a curse for you, right? Like you listen to a song on the radio, and what's going through your head? Are you bebopping to the beat and tapping your toes?
I mean, partly, but also I'm dissecting it, going, what are they telling me? What's going on here? What's this? Yeah, because it's my job.
Yeah, what word structures are they using?
And it's also, man, what kind of imagery these? Oh, that's cliche. Oh, I like that. Oh, that's interesting. Where's this going?
There you go.
I'm most of the time, actively listening, not passively listening.
Right. And it's 3-dimensional for you, right? You're seeing, you're really, copping onto the way they use the words, the lyrics, how it's rolling off the tongue. And I'm listening to, I'll be like, I could hear a song for the first time. I'm like, oh my God, I love that kick drum sound. Like I'm listening to the bass arrangement. I'm hearing the way the whole thing's put together, because I see it right away and I know I'm dissecting it. It's 3-dimensional to me. That's not the way a consumer experiences music. They don't experience it like you experience. Here's another way to put it. When I bought my first house, you have to get the inspections done and everything. And so we bring the inspector over. It's his job to have the curse of knowledge and tell me, because I don't have the curse of knowledge, what's wrong with the house.
You're just like, I like that paint color in that kitchen. That's pretty cool. They're like, well, if you look over in the basement. Right.
So we got my wife's parents shot us some appliances for the kitchen, right, as a wedding present. Like, here you go. Here's a brand new dishwasher, because that thing was like old and crusty.
Yeah.
So we get the new dishwasher, and Walmart comes over and they open up the sink underneath the sink, and they're like, oh, we can't put this in. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, it's going to be like an extra $600 to fix this mess under the sink, which looks like a bunch of pipes to me.
Yeah.
But it's like totally out of code.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So there's the difference, right? That's me not having any knowledge about what's going on. I'm like, the damn water works when I turn it on. But no,
yeah.
You can't do that. There's a reason why they have the codes. So we had to pay a plumber to come and fix all that, and then have the free installation from, our $600 free installation from Home Depot. There's the difference. Like consumers do not experience music the way you experience music, and you have to understand that. You have to be aware of that. The first time they heard that Tim McGraw song was like the 6th time.
Right.
Right. They don't care about the kick drum sound or what reverb they used, or is that a room sound, or is that like, did they double that voice? Like, what do they, they're not picking it apart like that, like you are as a musician. So they're interrupted on that platform. And because they're interrupted and they hear it 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and they start to develop a relationship with the song, that does not happen on digital. Period. End of story. Mm-hmm. They're going to develop a relationship with you first as an artist, and then they're going to listen to the music. Or they're going to develop a relationship with your content, like what we're trying to do with Allura. Mm-hmm. I want them to watch that baby video.
Right.
And I put there's a narration over this video. Mm-hmm. I was thinking the whole time, Ray Liotta, like in Goodfellas. Or
my whole life I wanted to be
I wanted to be a gangster. Yeah. And so just having that, so it's, basically she's like, I'm Allura. My name's Allura. And I came into this world pissed off, and the baby's like, what? That's her. These are all pictures of her.
Yeah.
That energy connection. And she's like, I came into this world pissed off with a set of lungs. And my mother said I was unruly as a child, had butt, right, on the video. And she says, I didn't take any crap from anybody. It's like, I protested everything. My first haircut, and literally she's in that little bouncy thing when you're a kid. Yeah. And her mom's trying to cut her hair, and she stands up out of the bouncy thing, and she does like a Jesus Christ pose with her hands outstretched. Yeah. And she's just like looking at her mom like, no,
I mean, cutting hair in a bouncy thing.
It's the only way she could get her sit still, I think. Well, it's not a bouncy thing. It's like
it's a worse place to cut some hair.
No, it's not a bouncy thing.
Bounces you up and down.
It's a thing it's a circle thing that you can kind of walk all over the room. I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
She's clearly not happy with the haircut.
Right.
Every diaper change, I just keep going back to this footage of the same. It took her mom like forever to try to change this diaper. And she got it all. He almost escaped like 3 times. Yeah. It's great. So, but this is I want you to like this content, and then what's playing underneath it is the track. Mm-hmm. Right? And then maybe I get you interested to go see that. But I'm coming in a way, I'm understanding. When you go to a party, if you have a good mother, she taught you, don't go to a party without a gift. Right.
Yeah.
Right. You show up with a bottle of wine, you show up with something. That's what you're supposed to, that's etiquette. This is etiquette. Like the gift is, I think I got some content here that's going to be funny for you.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me want to go see an Allura show because I'm like, oh, she looks like a hoot.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. This is going to be a show.
It's going to be fun. I'm interested in what's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the little 1 minute thing, she's like, and don't worry, I don't bite hard. Stole that from Austin Powers. Totally just ripped it right off.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm doing here? This I'm hoping is not spam. Now we subtitled it so you can hear right off the bat. And I haven't put the ad together yet, in Facebook, but I will probably, I might Pulp Fiction edit it. So I'm going to find the hook in there. One thing that when you see it and you watch it, you're like, holy crap. Probably is going to be the baby going, I came into this world pissed off. That's probably what it'll be. Because you're like, oh, that's a newborn baby. Yeah. And I came into this world pissed off. I'm interested in this story right off the bat.
Yeah.
It's not listen to my music.
Right. It's a story.
Yeah. There's something else there. Like baby. Oh my God, that's funny. The baby's clearly screaming, came into this world pissed off. That I understand right away.
Right. Yeah.
Right? I mean, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So they're going to develop a relationship with the artist online. And you have to understand what kind of cold audience you're in front of and how they become a warm audience, and what you can do with a cold audience and what you shouldn't do with a cold audience, and what you can do with a warm audience, which is a little bit more. Like the tour poster, that's for a warm audience.
Yeah.
If I know who you are, now I'm interested in if you're playing and where you're playing. And then, by the way, if I know who you are, don't send me a freaking tour poster in Nashville. I don't care.
Right. I can't do anything with that. That just frustrates me.
But if you want to let me know that you're really doing it, what's a better way to let me know that you're really doing it? Social proof that you're actually gigging.
Pictures of your fans going crazy.
Yeah. Footage of the gig.
Yeah.
Right? Like the party that I missed. Show me that. Because I'm in Nashville and you're in Seattle.
Right.
Okay? And I'm not going to get there for you. I'm not going to get there for Van Halen. I mean, I'm not...
Yeah.
I want to go see. Like, I'll wait till they come here.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with a cold audience, you have to understand that you're the salesman in the room. We've talked about that. They don't know who you are. And the first thing they want to find out, because it's the dynamic, the platform that you're on is digital, it's consumed one-to-one. They need to know that you care about them first. This is the way that you show them, like, I think this might be funny for you. And by the way, when you get to the back message, if you turn on the sound, so I've set up this ad with Allura, for instance, so that it is you can consume it and get pleasure from it just with the subtitles, with zero sound. Okay?
Right. So bathroom time, bathroom reading.
Well, people put the sound on in there. It's work. Right?
That's work. You're right. Yeah.
Not supposed to be.
Yeah.
They're passing time at work. So, by the way, 80% of all Facebook videos are consumed without the sound. So that's why I'm putting that. So the narration is there, and you can see what's going on, and you can follow that story and have enjoyment from that, and look at this kid that's just torturing her mother from day one. Yeah. And you can see what and put all the pieces together. But I'm set it up so that it's consumable for you. It's relevant and personal to you in a funny bone way. Yeah. It could be a heartstring way. It could be a shocking way. It could be, whatever you stand for. But that's a cold audience. We have to honor the cold audience. We have to know that they don't know who we are. So we've got to get something for them. Now, the other thing is we want to make sure that we've got a targeted cold audience, right? Again, like I'm interested in all kinds of artists, but I don't listen to hip hop. I don't have anything hip hop. There's nothing in my data that suggests that I listen to hip hop. I don't have anything against it. Just doesn't turn me on. Yeah. Like I don't listen to it. I can market the fire out of it. Right? Yeah. But I don't personally consume it. So that tells me that if I get a hip hop DM from somebody in Seattle about their show, that there's zero targeting going on here. Yeah. Right? There's zero targeting, because he didn't sit down and think about what other artists sound like that. And so, a quick side note: we brought on a new client this week, and we sat down and talked with the client about, again, targeting. Probably another hour-long conversation. And like many artists, and this is what I want to touch on. They're like, everybody's always asking us who we sound like. We hate answering that question. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? I get that. And that used to rub me the wrong way as an artist too. So I really, really get that. But they're not really asking what you sound like. What are they really asking?
Will I like you?
Yeah. Like, are you my culture or not my culture? Yeah. What kind of music do you do? And so for them, they're a twin group. They're two girls that are twins, and they have like this, they kind of sound like Joni Mitchell, man. Like, and they do all kinds of harmonies, and it's Americana folksy kind of stuff. It's super interesting. Really, really cool, man. The guitar player's a monster in this group. The stuff that they sent me on the questionnaire that you've all probably should have listened to by now, because I've offered it up for free many times, it's like girl stuff, right? Yeah. And that's good. And it was on target for sure. We're not thinking about what you sound like. I'm thinking about the culture. Like, what's the culture? Whose audience is going to like you? What male artists are out there that you could tour with who have an audience? Just, I said that to get them out of the box, right? They were linked into thinking like, we've got to sound like these people in order for people to like us. No, it's Americana music. Like, who else is out there? Yeah. You know, they're like the Lumineers. I'm like, there you go. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. How about Mumford and Sons? They're like, oh, totally. Yeah, yeah. And then all of a sudden we're weaving into a little bit of Sheryl Crow even, like, because she's, been stripped down and sort of has a more of an organic feel to it. And there's some people that could really like that. And so we're just trying to figure out what those targets are. Why? Because we don't want it to be spam.
Right.
Because when we're going to interrupt you with something, we want you then to listen to and be like, ooh, I like that. What's this? Right? So Laura's rock and roll. She's got a record produced by Michael Wagner. That's the same guy that produced Ozzy, same guy that produced Alice Cooper, same guy that mixed Queen. He mixed Master of Puppets for Metallica. He produced Dokken. He produced Skid Row. I'm not going to put her in front of an audience of hip-hop people.
Right.
Or in front of an audience of people who like Celine Dion.
Right.
Or in front of a reggae audience, right? Or a country audience. They're not, unless I know that they like rock and roll.
Right.
And how do I know that? Because of the artists that they follow. Right? So that takes it away from the spam part, because I want to empower artists here that in order for you to get into growth, you're going to have to get in front of some new eyeballs.
That's right.
And to get in front of some new eyeballs, what has to happen? You're going to have to interrupt them.
Yeah.
They don't know who you are. So there's a way to, like, you don't get to forcefully do it on digital the way it was done to you on radio.
Right.
I'm going to say that again. You don't get to forcefully do this, to forcefully interrupt a consumer on digital the same way it happened on radio with the song, right? We have to forcefully interrupt them. And now, if you've got a budget, we can do that with paid ads, right? With paid traffic, where we do something like we did with Allura. We put that together. We target an audience. We can do it for a show. We talked about that. There's an episode that says how I got 400 strangers to come see me at a show. That was paid traffic that we did and spent $200 on it with Jacob K. That's another episode you can check out. If you don't have any money and you're doing it DIY, you've got to do it through targeting. You can't spray and pray. You can't be the hippo's butt.
Right, exactly.
But you've got to pay. I mean, Brent, you got a great product. Is it going to help you at all if you're targeting
NFL players?
Yeah, NFL players or housewife Tupperware parties? Like,
no,
not unless they're housewife Tupperware parties and it's a lyric thing.
Right, yeah.
Lyrics, or for song.
Not a good batting average on that one.
Yeah. So this is, the reason I want to talk about this is because we feel, number one, I think it keeps artists away from trying to market because of the way they're getting spammed. They're like, oh, I don't want to be like that.
Well, good. Don't.
Yeah, don't. I mean, every day you buy stuff that you like. You can't even remember half the crap you bought in the last 90 days.
Right.
You can't remember half the crap you bought or the experience you had buying it because you knew what it was. You were familiar with the product. You liked it. You happily paid the money. They did their job. They sent you the product. It was the quality that you were expecting. It was what you wanted to get. And it all happened just the way they said it was going to happen. And the expectations were met. And you were happy and you went on about your day and you forget about it. The only thing you remember is the spammy, crappy stuff.
Exactly. Yep.
Right? So that's what we're doing here, guys. Once people have found out about you, they become a warm audience, right? Whether they even realize it or not. Maybe they haven't responded to you, but they're still a warm audience. So we've talked about the video ad we did for a client of ours where they spent $1,047, and we got that 10-second cost of the video, the cost per 10-second view down to 1 penny. It's like 1.1 cents, which is pretty sick, right?
Yeah.
That's because number one, we targeted correctly. Okay. And number two, when you target correctly and the creative is really good, the video we put together was astonishing. Like, it was really interesting. Okay. For this client, that relevance score shoots up on a scale of 1 to 10. The relevance score with Facebook ads, we had a 9 out of 10. Which means that the audience we're listening, they're consuming it. They're fascinated with it. They want to watch it. And that means the cost goes way down because we did such a good job, because that's what Facebook wants. They want you to, they don't want spamming. They want relevant stuff that gets people talking, sharing, engaging.
Staying on the platform.
And staying on the platform. Thank you. So with that, $1,047, 94,000 people saw that video for 10 seconds.
Wow.
26,000 people saw it 75% of the way through, significantly less number, right?
Yeah.
40,000 people saw it 50% of the way through. 8,500 people saw it 100% of the way through. But the deal is, even the 10-second people, they know. They don't know why they know.
Yeah.
Right. They can't name it by, they're not going to know Alora from that if they watch it for 10 seconds, but they will have seen it. They will have seen, they will have been exposed to it. And so it's now more familiar to them, even though they don't understand why.
Yeah.
So
it's like that first spin on the radio where the average listener isn't even aware they heard it yet.
Yeah.
But it's one of the, you got to get those 7 spins in right before they even know they've heard it.
Yes.
And that's one of your 7. So it's building that.
Yes. And
it's
so
just the part of the iceberg that's under the water.
Yes.
Right. And we are all concerned with what's above the water, but you got to build the under the water.
Yeah. That's a really good way of putting it, actually.
Thank you.
You're so good with words. You should
words.
Think about doing it for a living, maybe. I don't know. I think you could be somebody. Once you reach out and you've interrupted them, and hopefully maybe you made them laugh, you made them feel something, you made them cry, you got them angry over something provocative, not at you, over something provocative. Now you've got the start of a relationship that becomes a warm audience, and there's different things that you can do with a warm audience to develop the relationship. Let's say that. But ads are not spam. That's not fair to say, because think about how many times you were presented with a product in your Facebook feed or your Instagram feed, and you're like, oh my God, stop. Why are you stopping? Because you're interested. Why are you interested? Because there's something on there that shows this product doing something, and that's something that you were thinking about, right? Yeah. So advertising is about getting the right message in front of the right person at the right time. And it was done differently on broadcast than it is on digital. It has to be done differently. And you just need to understand the difference between the two. So stop spamming.
That's right. I'll tell you a quick analogy about the difference between a cold audience and a warm audience. You know, you can just walk up and when you're out somewhere and put your arms around your girlfriend, right? You know, kind of slip behind her, put your arms around her waist, give her a little kiss on the neck. Do that to a stranger.
Yeah.
You get slapped.
That's right.
I mean, really, my wife, that's why I say girlfriend, because wife might slap you too, just depending on, you know, how long you've been married. But girlfriend, you get away with it, right? You get a very different reaction. That's a warm audience versus a cold audience. You're like, and maybe that's a girl that could have become your girlfriend, but you spammed her right off the top, right?
Yeah.
So you got to approach it differently.
You can put that, even make it more granular. How about a first date? Yeah. Somebody that you already met that's interested in you enough to go out on a first date. Now, maybe you're not going to put your arm around her, but you can certainly like put your hand on the small of her back and guide her into a restaurant. You can hold her hand as she's getting in and out of the car. There's different things that you can do to invade that space,
right? That
are actually considered gentlemanly. Or, I mean, she can touch your face. She can, you know, there's that. Still, when it's a new relationship, right, where it's not that familiar, boyfriend and girlfriend kind of thing, that's allowed, that is okay, but can't do that. You can't just walk up to some stranger and just, you know, run your hand on their face. I mean,
hello, is it me you're looking? Sorry, old video reference. This is all.
Can you imagine? So anyway, guys, that's what we want to talk about. Spamming is bad, but don't be afraid that you're spamming if you're targeting correctly, if you're mindful of the content that the target audience is going to see. They're going to like it. I mean, the world's greatest hamburger recipe to a group of meat eaters who absolutely love hamburgers, who have raised their hands and said, we are hamburger connoisseurs. That's going to be interesting to them if you interrupt them, right?
Yes.
And if it's not interesting to them, they're not going to be pissed off about it because they like hamburger.
You can run up and you can tackle me if you're going to give me a hamburger.
Yeah, right.
But if you're going to give me like, here's your flu shot, I'm like, punch you in the face.
There you go. So same thing. You can have the same ad, could be a great ad, great content, but if you're trying to target it to people in a vegan community, it's spam.
Right.
Because they don't
literally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So with that, guys, that brings us to the end of another Killer Climb episode. If you are confused about this, if you're scared about getting out there, I mean, bottom line is you're not going to grow your audience without getting in front of new eyeballs. Okay. Reach out to us, schedule a consultation today, and we can talk about what your targeting is, some different approaches that you can go do. Just give you some ideas on what you can do to move forward and be more productive with your time and be more productive with your money and stop wasting time and wasting money. Just email us at info@daredevilproduction.com. As Brent said at the beginning, production is singular. There is no S. It's info@daredevilproduction.com. Please put consultation in the subject line, and we'll reach out, schedule one, and get you going, get you moving in the right direction. You'll see results right away. That I can promise you. C.L.I.M.B community, join that. Subscribe to the podcast. Leave a 5-star rating and review if you take a second. That lets other people know we're legit. And share it. If this is the kind of stuff that helps you, if somebody needs to hear this message, then put it up on your social media. Tell a friend about it. Send them a link. Text them this. Text them that. Send up a smoke signal. Pony Express. Whatever you got to do.
All right.
Make sure they know about it. But this podcast exists because we want you to win, guys. So keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.